So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Very Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirit and my intuition, the tarot, to communicate energies to you guys, most fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I am so glad that you found me. I do hope that this reading resonates for you. If it isn't resonating, then hopefully you do find one in my playlist that is vibing to your energy frequency. And if you do resonate with that, then don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can stay connected to future readings. For those of you guys who are returning, I am so blessed to be here. I'm so grateful for another year here to do your readings. And today's reading is a request by somebody who commented wanting to know what we can do, what's within our power to be able to navigate through this day and time where the matrix could certainly be completely distorted, where there's a lot of energy that's trying to sway us, okay, to the negative polarity. Now, I don't believe in evil so much as it is a negative and positive polarity, okay? And so we get a choice consciously whether we want to be in the higher vibration or the lower vibration. It's always a choice, okay? But if we don't realize, because we are pulled into distortion, illusion, or lower vibration, how can we navigate through this so that we could stay balanced, so that we can be conscious enough to shift the energy here of the collective? So you might be a healer, a light worker. Okay, a lot of the subscribers here are light workers, healers. Some of you guys come here for your love readings, and so there will be a little bit of aspect in regards to relationship that can help support whatever your mission here is. Okay, so it's kind of layered, and really at the end of the day, it's like, what can you do for your own sort of role to contribute to the collective healing and the collective consciousness so that we can heal planet Earth? Okay, and I do want to say that there is one thing that you can, well, two sort of things, but they're all one and the same, that you can do. And what you can do is love God, the creator, source, with all your heart, okay? And your neighbor as self. And your neighbor is God reflected back to you. It's self-reflected back to you. We're all one. And so you cannot go wrong. You cannot go astray if you are loving your neighbor as self and loving God with all your heart, because that is the true liberation, you know, to do the true demonstration of what it is to completely transcend beyond any shadow distortion, anything that is creating a lower vibration is going to be based on an untruth or a perception that may not necessarily be clearly seen through the lens of truth and love. Okay, so if you want to do one thing, you can love your neighbor as yourself, love God with all your heart, and stick to that. And you can't go wrong. Okay, but if you're wanting to know more specifically about your role, then we will take a look at what Spirit wants to communicate for you and what you can do. And so I'll put timestamps down below, which will take you directly to your pick. And like I said, we will select from the secret geometry here, and then we will get into your reading. All right. I love you guys very much. I will see you guys at the card selection. All right. So let's choose from the oracle cards here, the sacred geometry, and we're looking at three options, which I have pre-shuffled oracle cards. Okay, I've not looked at these cards, and I asked Spirit specifically for the collective tapped into this reading. What is your role here in the collective to bring healing and shift and change in whatever area you're sort of being encouraged or guided to, okay, collectively, to provide healing here on Earth? And so let's see what Spirit wants to communicate to you, beautiful angels. So let's pull our three cards for option 1, 2, and 3, Spirit, regarding the collective role that the collective tapped into this reading is being encouraged to encompass option 1, option 2, and option 3. All right, so I'll reveal these shortly, but if at any point you are pulled to any one of these 3 piles, then you can select from the timestamp down below. Okay, so only take messages that resonate for you, and it's absolutely fine to be drawn to multiple piles. You're not fixed on just one pile here, okay, especially if it's if your intuition is calling for multiple. So let's take a look. Option number 1, we have surrender, release, resistance, and control. Option number 2, we have ancient sound frequencies, rebalance energy, frequency, and vibration with 1. Option number 2, option 3, we have the, oh my goodness, isosahedron, the divine feminine, 21. Kind of almost feels like this card is flashing. So don't let the words sort of deter you, okay? Like you don't have to be a feminine or a female in order to be drawn to this pile, okay? But there is going to be an energy in regards to what Spirit is wanting you to encompass here, or at least what vibration is going to be your calling here to the collective that is going to have the most impact, okay, to your contribution here to the collective. So I'll leave these 3 piles with you. Take your time, and I will see you guys at your pick. Pile number 1, you guys pick the card of surrender, release, resistance, and control, card number 46. So 46 could be a significant number, could be an age, okay, but that is the number 10, which talks about endings here, okay? So we'll get into your energy and what it is that Spirit is encouraging you in regards to energy frequency for your contribution here to the collective, okay, so that we can shift from whatever state of vibration that might be more leaning towards the negative polarity, distortions in the matrix, and what you can do, what energy you can encompass to bring healing. Okay, so use your intuition. You could sit through this card layout in order to see if this resonates for you before I begin to channel the message, okay, and develop your intuition. So every pile has a postcard from Spirit, which is a specific message for this grouping, which I'll read at the end. Okay, but let's take a look here. So we have denial. I acknowledge my fear, but I replace it with the insight of awareness. All right, and then we have the moon and Venus with the number 12. That's the number 3. So 3 is the energy of growth, relationships, initial success. Okay, it's also the number of creativity, joy, communication, self-expression, groups, having fun. 3 is Taurus, Libra energy with this Venus as well. Okay, and moon is Cancer, Pisces. Yes, all right. And with the number 10, we have some Leo energy here. We have Dewal, cool, with Dharma unfolding. Remember that you are on a path. Take one step at a time to happiness. And we have the squirrel will advise you to gather and provision. All right. We have Explorer, number 14, or the number 5. So Sagittarius and Taurus energy here, Traveler and Wanderer. with this sailor in the Navy. Okay, and then we have card number 28 and 1. This was an afterthought, okay? I don't think I showed these in the tarot deck at the beginning here, but this is the spiritual cards, the spiritual oracle. Okay, so quest for answers 28 and 1. It says clarity, concept of perfection, moral conscious, critical look, inner listening, access to pleasure, and social involvement. Type 1, the perfectionist instinctive center between control and letting go. Interesting, ties back to the surrender here. Okay, and then we also have adaptability, moon in Gemini with the number 3, so heavy 3s prominent. Some of you guys might have been pulled to pile number 3, okay, which is divine feminine energy. Somehow this energy might be tied, okay? We have some Virgo Gemini energy here as well. So Mercury pulling through with the Gemini. Okay. And then we have the ways of water, white willow with the tree. So water can erode even the hardest of substances like rock over time with consistency, which is reminding me, I have this quote over here, which I'll pull out. It is, sorry, this is going to drive me nuts if it's all crooked. It says, you see a river cuts through the rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Okay, so it's talking about persistence, but water is also very adaptable. It can go around things as well. It's fluid, just like Bruce Lee says. Be like water. Flow like water, be adaptable here, okay? A white willow. So willow trees, I don't know which deck. It might be the Liminal Spirits Oracle, but I'm not sure. But the willow tree, it could definitely be about healing ancestral wounds here, okay? Yeah. All right. And then we have assumptions with 43, or the number 7. Cancer energy. So 7's all about faith and wisdom. We see the cross here, okay? So could be talking about some form of faith. 7 is also about spirituality and intellect, personal growth, solitude. There's a lot of personal energy coming through here, okay? And then we have connection. So connection is how we relate with others. And we're related. We have relationship with everything and everyone, okay? Everything. So 14 is this temperance and this Hierophant energy. Temperance is the flow. So it says connection. The frequency of connection supports our ability to find alignment and resonance with others, things, and ideas. Okay, so I am going to pull some tarot as well, and I'll do this now. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1, Spirit. What is their role specifically here that they're being encouraged to encompass for collective healing in order to navigate what is going on in the world today regarding the matrix and holding a higher vibration? What can pile 1 do? What are they being encouraged to look at, heal, or how they're being called to engage? Okay, I'll pull 4 for now. So let's take a look. Ace of Swords, truth, clarity, authenticity. I was getting that with the white here because white is the pure self. So this sword can cut through confusion and illusion. But it can also use distortions to create suffering. Okay? Yeah, let's see. And we have the 3 of Sacred Circles, 3 Pentacles. That's this connection energy working with other. And then we have the Hierophant, which we were also feeling from the number 14. Okay, which I think you got twice. Yeah, you guys might be seeing 1414. Could definitely be an angel number. If you Google that, see what comes through. If it resonates for you as a message, you can leave that in the comments so I know what you're pulling through with the 1414. Okay, or you might be seeing 55. 55 is change is the only constant. Divinely orchestrated change. Fives are all about changes, adventure. Okay, risk, freedom, challenge, conflict, rebuild. So the Hierophant in reverse is going against social norms and constructs, breaking convention, with how we've been raised. And we were getting ancestral stuff here with this tree, family lineage. Okay, definitely relationships pulling through here, but something about the self is coming through very strong here. Adaptability with the water. Okay, water can talk about our emotions. Finally, we have strength, and it's in the reverse. So Leo and in the reverse could be talking about some form of a release of ego, okay, or a need to face some form of fear here. Okay, 8 of Sacred Circles at the bottom of the deck. I don't read bottom of the deck reverse, but this is all about the consistent energy and effort and dedication that we put day in, day out in the practical world. Okay, so let me sit here with this energy. You guys can skip ahead. Let me use the feather today as the wand. All right. Okay, pile number 1. This could definitely be the energy of people you're dealing with. It could be your own energy. Okay, and sometimes we tap into this reading so that we know how other people are operating or how the collective is operating. And so we get sort of an understanding so that we can support however we want, if we want to support. Because I feel for the collective that's going to click on this pile, this might be a lower state of consciousness. Okay, and this isn't a judgment at all. If this is your energy, then that's fine. Now we're understanding where we're at sort of consciously. But this is sort of collective baseline. Okay, as far as how it's pulling through here, there's an energy here of the self. Okay, and the self, as we know when we're in a higher state of consciousness, sort of disappears. There's no more little I, there's no more sense of self so much as it is a collective consciousness. Okay, and it's like knowing that we are tied and connected to everyone and everything. Okay, but we have to go through a series of getting there. Okay, now there's not really a there to get to because we're already there, but if we don't see it, we don't understand it, we haven't really broadened that level of understanding consciously, then we're still on some form of journey. And so all journeys are valid, regardless of where they're at. Okay, even distortions and illusions are valid until we work through breaking through and seeing. So this energy that I'm tapped into, which I'll say this person, I might switch it on you and call it you. Okay, if I do and it's not you, then just keep in mind this could be just a collective you're dealing with, the person you're dealing with, or your energy if it resonates. Okay, so, and all of us carry a piece of this. Okay, all of us, because we're not all healed beyond this, but this does feel like I say, and I'm just prefacing this so that we know what we're looking at. This is an energy of self that has to do the work in regards to the self before we can start to get to the collective. Now, does this mean we're not impacting the collective because it's all about what I'm doing with myself? No, because this is the greatest work we could ever do. And so if this is your energy, congratulations, because I feel like this is the first big major step in impacting collective consciousness. It's looking at ourselves. What am I doing exactly here? How am I involved in the collective, and what am I doing that might be negatively impacting the collective? What do I need to resolve or look at clearly within myself so that I can heal this, so that I can heal the collective? How does that work? How does healing me heal the collective? Because when you heal yourself and you remove and transmute distortions, negative polarity, you're not vibrating in low consciousness, you're now removing that energy and you raise the vibration of the collective. Okay. And every person that does this raises the vibration higher and higher here of Earth. Okay. So we start to operate on a more transcendent type energy. Okay. We become light beings through evolution, through many, many years of transmuting in negative energy. Okay, like shadows, wounds, pains, and egos that get in the way and keep us in low vibe, keep us in war, keep us in suffering, keeping us in a versus mentality, a separation consciousness. So this is all about, there is perceptions that this energy carries, okay? And this perception is passed down from generation to generation to generation. It's through an upbringing. It starts in family, okay, through the generational wounds, and then it becomes societal. Okay, it's expectations, the family expectations, then the society expectations, and what we do with that. Okay, and so the first thing we can do is not just rebel, okay, but rebelling is part of the process. So we might be, for this energy, rebelling, okay, because it could start as rebelling against big pharma, you know, rebelling against the government, rebelling against, why am I investing in corrupt educational systems that are actually just indoctrination camps, that are just infusing the collective with false information regarding history, regarding our spirituality, regarding our capacity and abundance. Okay, maybe instilling fears, limitations, talking about war, and enforcing separation. Okay, all of this stuff could be happening, and it's just happening and happening, and either we could just be blind to it and sit through it and do nothing, or we could buck the system. Now, we know that bucking the system is a part of the journey at some point in time, but it's very entry, because bucking the system and being sort of a challenge, it creates more of the same. Okay, and so we may think, no, I'm approaching it with a different sort of energy, but it's like what you fight up against, you strengthen, because it meets you with equal force. Okay, that's why when there's war and it escalates, because it's like one side's pushing up against the other, and so the other has to double down, and then the other side, it becomes more strong, and then the other side, and so there's this fight against which side is stronger, and it feeds that polarity. Okay, so the only way to diffuse the polarity we don't like, okay, the negative polarity or the lower state, is to infuse it with what? With the opposite, which is love. Okay, we're not going to feed it with the same energy, or else it builds negativity. So if I'm instilling separation, if I'm instilling resistance, or if I'm challenged, if I'm negative, if I'm angry, if I'm resentful, if I'm filled with any energy of a lower vibration, it builds on this in which we don't like. You know, I don't like big pharma, so now I'm going to go and, do whatever it is in regards to fighting against it with negativity. And we might think we're doing it for the higher good, okay? But infusing it with love doesn't mean, oh, I'm just going to love that this is happening and turn a blind eye and be all love and peace, love and light. No, but what does love mean? Love means standing in truth and seeing clearly what the truth is, okay, regarding whatever that corrupt system is. I'm using big pharma. It could be anything here, okay? It could just be even within others. Okay, like how others operate. It's like, why is there jealousy? Why is there hurtful people? Why are people abusing the environment? Why are people? And it's like, and then we could get on that humanitarian cause, and then we fight that energy that we're trying to eradicate. And so by fighting something, or by acknowledging the distortion, we create and support that distortion even more. It becomes the thing that doesn't go away. I'm seeing it, and then I keep reinforcing it by arguing it or butting up against it. Okay, so this is where it can get kind of confusing, because it's like, well, am I just going to ignore it and it's going to, monopolize and take over? No. So standing in truth means being very open and honest and clear about what is truthful, okay, what is truthful, and then not wavering, not bending to the will, but being able to support that truth. And if all the collective was able to stand in truth, then there would be massive shift, because nobody would feed that machine. It becomes the noise that falls away because nobody is giving it any attention. I'm not buying the false medicine. Okay, we call it the health system, but it's really stay sick system. Stay sick, buy the poisons, and stay in that sort of understanding that we've been fed, that says you're actually healing yourself. Meanwhile, you're just perpetuating more suffering. Okay, so it's really about this energy is what can I do within my power here? And so before I can make a shift and a change that's going to impact other people, big systems, society, things that I know aren't spiritual in the highest. Okay, now everything is spiritual, even the negative polarity. It's all spiritual. This is all a school of learning. Okay, we all end up going back to the same place, the one creator, the one source. Why are those things even happening? Because God is bad or God wants to punish certain people? No, it's to create the contrast that we need in order for God to experience itself. You are God experiencing itself. And if everything was sort of emitting the exact same energy, we wouldn't know who we are, because we would all just be, it's like the sun bouncing off nothing. The sun would just keep perpetuating this beautiful sunlight on and on and on, and it wouldn't reflect back to it, and it wouldn't know it's the sun. It wouldn't feel the warmth. It wouldn't see its reflection. It wouldn't know it's the sun. And so God, being the sun here, okay, is using contrast. It's all about energy polarity. It's not about evil. It's not about, this white bearded God and then the devil, with the horns. Okay, that's not how this is at all. And if you're religious, then this might not be your reading at all. And you could buy your religions all you want. This is all solely about energy. It is talking about the contrast. And so why are these negative polarity? I'm not saying bad when I say negative, and I want to make that very clear. It's the other vibration, okay, because everything sits on a scale. There's the positive and the negative. And so this experience, okay, big pharma, war, challenge, whatever this is, okay, that we don't agree with, or we see it as a lower state or something that we need to do something about it, okay? But what is the doing about it? The doing about it, before we can even have a voice and stand in truth and shine our light and know what the truth is, we have to remove our own distortion. Because what you see out there is a reflection of what's going on within us, okay? And so we all have a role here. And so I feel like this energy still carries distortions about beliefs of who we are. So there could still be a strong belief that we're separate, that there's an enemy and I'm fighting up against it. No, you're not. You're one and the same. Okay, you're one and the same. And so how do we see this? We have to work through the illusions and the distortions, okay, which does require big surrender, okay, surrendering in all sorts of ways, surrendering identity, surrendering our beliefs, surrendering the need to control and do something, because when we get on this awakening, it's like, I'm going to be the doer and I'm going to fight against this system and that system. And it's like, no, first of all, we're not even a doer. Okay, we're all acting out of one state of source, which is the highest truth of love and light. And then we have been programmed through centuries to buy certain distortions and beliefs that are now contorting all of our beliefs and perceptions. Okay, and so there is a strong need in this pile here to sort of do the opposite of what this energy is sort of doing. Okay, now I say opposite. It doesn't have to be so much the opposite, but it's like the need to really hang on, control, and get in there to be the doer. It's like, what's the opposite? Be like water. Okay, be like water, because for one, we might be seeing water as like bending to the will of what we don't want, but really, can we pin down water? No, you can't pin down water. Okay, water is very fluid here, and water is very flexible here. And this water is able to navigate through systems more easily with the flexibility. Once it removes any sort of fixed, controlled ideas, okay, then it could move a lot differently. And so I feel like this energy could definitely still be seeing through the first layer of illusion, like identity, what we're about, the perception that we have about others and society and from our perspective, and that we house and carry that belief as though it's true, because we've already chosen a side. It's like if we're given certain experiences, it's like I get to choose a side and I get to run with that belief, and we're all able to do that. Okay, but once we choose something, it's like we're claiming it as the ultimate truth, but it's just our perception and chosen story. And we don't need to choose a story. That's the thing. There is nothing to choose. There is just what's happening. There is what's happening in this earth. And so the more we remove the stories, the distortions, the illusions, and the opinions and the strongholds, because that's going to create a need to do something and a need to force something, and we want control, and I'm going to be a doer. And it's like, no, all of that, once that's released, once that's seen through, it's like you're a clear channel of the divine creator, and you shed light. Okay, you will shed light on those things in which you're wanting to eradicate, because it will be something that becomes very irrelevant, because it'll, one, fall away. We're no longer enforcing it. Okay, we're not feeding the war. We're not feeding that system by like pointing at it, creating judgment upon it, and making up a story in regards to it, keeps it alive in consciousness. It becomes irrelevant, and nobody buys the poisonous system anymore. Okay, and so if it's dealing with situations in regards to people, then it's almost like that saying that says, two wrongs don't make a right. When we're dealing with people with a lower vibration, they either fall away or they're called to raise their vibration, because you set the example here. The example you set is going to set the tone and the pace of the collective. Okay, and so I feel like there is a good intention, but intentions don't mean anything when they are creating that in which we're fighting. Okay, but it's like we could narrate it differently. It's like, yeah, but it looks like this or it looks like that. Yeah, but it's coming from the same mindset of an opinion and attachment and a need for control. Okay, because Big Pharma wants control, and people who are also like let's say they are in fear states, or they're jealous, or they're negative. It's like they also want control. They also have fear. And so when we're acting out of fear, we're just mirroring the other person, even though we might think our fear is more righteous, or ours isn't fear, ours is more empowered control. It's like, no such thing as empowered control. Any control is fear. When we need to control something, it's out of fear, because what if it happens where it doesn't go in the way that I think it should go or needs to go? Okay, and so there needs to be a trust in something higher, greater than ourself. Okay, although it is yourself, because you and the divine are one. Okay, but in the form, if we believe we're the body and we're separate from God, and that God is this entity up in the sky, it's separate from me, it's this great thing, and so I'm going to do it right in this body by doing something separate. It's like, no. For one, your greatest gift you can do is connect to that of the divine, and know that you are the divine expressing itself in a body form. And once you realize this, your energy shifts completely. It's like, I am God in this form, but I'm not this form. I'm not this body. I'm not my thoughts or my identities or my fears or all these stories. Okay, what I was brought up to believe to be, I'm none of that. But what I can do is get clear and see my own godlike nature by surrendering egos, fears, identities, assumptions, judgments, distorted ways that I'm perceiving because my eyes are showing me something through the veil. But it's your veil that's very unique to you because it's built over time. And so when we carry a veil, okay, a veil, we can't pretend that that's not what we see, of course, because the veil is like looking through that lens. Okay, so let's pretend that you have a veil that's seeing only red. When you close your eyes, open your eyes, all you see is red. That is your lens. It's been ingrained in you over time. And so you can't pretend and say, well, now I see blue, now I see green. You're always going to be seeing red. But if you know, I have a veil, I have an ingrained program that makes me see red, and I know it's there, but I know that nothing is red. The sky is blue, the grass is green, okay, or whatever, but I keep seeing red. I see red, but I know it's not red. Now, when we know this, we start to engage differently. It's like, I have a veil that I'm going to see through. Nothing here is red, but I believe it, and I've believed it to be red because that's what I seen, that's what I lived, and I lived like that. And so I treated everything like it was red. The grass, the sky, and then I was getting different results. But if I was really seeing the sky is blue and the grass is green, I would have engaged differently and got different results. And so how can you impact this collective is to get different results by seeing through your own distorted lens, by surrendering. Okay, you have a path here, and your path is like everyone else's, to get closer to the divine truth of who you are. And the closer you are to divine truth, the more serenity, the more peace that you can deliver here, okay? And so I do feel like there is experience that you're still needing to have here in order to see this, because we can't just all of a sudden take that veil off and say, okay, now I'm going to take it off. Now I'm seeing everything as the way it should. If we could hit a button and do that, sure. But with this Explorer energy, I feel like you're being encouraged to every day, with your everyday catalysts in regards to, let's say you're at the supermarket, you're at work, you're engaging with your family, you're engaging with people. There's going to be situations that keep arising in your day over and over and over and over and over again. And you're being encouraged to keep being reminded, what veil am I wearing right now? Do I have the veil of the red? And I'm like falling back into that old mind thing. Okay, because once we know that we have the veil, and then we go out in the real world, it's like we might fall back into living like everything's red again. Okay, I'm using that as the analogy, of course. Okay, whatever the veil is, this is the distortion, because I see things through the eyes of my experience. And so I believe it like it's true. And now I treat everyone and everything like that is the truth, the ultimate truth. No. And so when we're neutral enough to see and observe the situation as it is, we connect differently. We allow that in the present moment to surface, okay, without changing the course of how we engage in a way that might create different outcomes. The outcome is going to be based on how you engage and connect. Because whatever it is, okay, be it big pharma, be it the challenging person, whatever the other side is, the other polarity, okay, whatever it is, your energy mixed with that creates synergy. It could either create catastrophe, or it could create elevation, it could create beauty, it could create love, it could create support, it could create fear, it could create arguments. It's whatever comes together. You hold one side of this, so you have great power, because this other side is going to be what it is. And the only ability you have is to engage and be conscious of how you engage with that side, so that you can create either a beautiful cake or create some sort of atomic bomb. It's up to you what you want to create with this thing. And you might say, well, they're not an ingredient that I could create with. No, but you can engage in the highest truth of light and love, okay, and not support whatever the toxicity is, or the negative thing that you're seeing, the fear or the shadow or the distortion. And then this thing has no other choice but to raise to your vibration or fall away, because it's irrelevant. Okay, and so you have that power to do this, and so you will eradicate the things that you're not liking. But we have to cut through our own distortion, our own illusion, our own confusion, our own egoic beliefs before we can actually even have that impact on others. We have to see clearly. Okay, because I feel like we could all be on this moral ground of thinking, I know what's right and I'm seeing clearly. Meanwhile, we have the red veil or the red lens, and we don't realize when we're acting out of that. Okay, because when we're acting in that identity, we don't realize we're that identity. When we have a strong belief and narration that's going and driving our actions, we don't realize that we're acting from that place. Unless we really stop and see, like, how am I responding right now to this situation or this person? How am I creating harmony here? Am I enforcing? Okay, so through resistance, it's like I'm going to resist what I don't like, and then I'm going to infuse the things here that I believe based on my upbringing that are going against that thing that I don't like. And now it creates division and polarity. But if we are removing, okay, because this is all about removing distortion. It's not about becoming someone different. This isn't about, now I'm going to become the warrior, social justice warrior, fighting against all of these systems. No, there's nothing to fight. There's just peeling back and removing what is distorted within you. That's it. Okay, because there is a need that we always have as humans to be in control and to minimize the threats. That's what the ego does. Anything that threatens me in any capacity, I must eliminate it. I must fight against it. I must control or do something in my own world so that that experience is mitigated or eliminated. It's like, no, there's nothing to do there. First of all, to believe that we have any ability to control and do anything like this would mean you think you're a god of sorts, that you can have this power. Okay, but only God has this power. Now, we have the ability and free will to be conscious, to make choices for sure. But to God, source, the divine creator, is going to put in front of you reality. Right now, someone will knock at your door, text your phone. There'll be rain, there'll be snow, there'll be hurricanes. All of this is God. God's putting in front of you all of these opportunities. Okay, you don't control any of that. This is always happening. But your ability is, how am I responding and engaging? And am I fully conscious, or am I wearing a veil? And how will I respond and how will I engage? And the more flexible and fluid you are with that process, not getting fixated, okay, because the ego is going to want control because it's like, oh, I feel a threat. Oh my gosh, you feel the fear coming in, the need for control, the anxiety. And then it's going to want to fall back in old ways because it's like, whoa, now I feel a little safe, because the mind thinks it's protecting itself, but it's not doing anything. The mind is going to convince itself when something is good and something is bad, and this feels this way and that way. And meanwhile, it's just the thought that we're having. Okay, and the thought drives the feeling intensity. And so we need to be very conscious in the present moment of all our thoughts so that the reality is seen. Because right now I feel like this collective isn't seeing reality as it is. It's seeing reality through the lens of a distorted connection here. Okay, and so what Spirit is talking about is through time, through all of these daily catalysts, every time I go to the grocery store, every time I'm at work, every time I engage with a person and I connect in some way, it gives me the opportunity every single time to choose love, to remove that veil more and more and more. And eventually, I no longer see the red. I now see through that veil completely, and I see things as it is. And so I could be very present. And presence is the most loving gift you can do, because it's the highest vibration of truth and love. And I could see things for how it is. And so you're being asked to stand in truth, okay? And over time, this experience that you keep sort of being faced with is going to accumulate, okay? Accumulate, and this is going to be your contribution here to the collective, working through your own fears, shadows, egos, beliefs, surrendering to that of the divine, seeing the great truth, being in reality, working through and cutting through distortion, and not using the identity opinion to create harm. Okay, when we're creating any form of harm, and we might think, well, I'm not harming, I'm just resisting, or I'm just trying to control this. It's like harm is not engaging with something in its real truth. So in other words, if something or someone is in front of you and they're displaying whatever they're displaying, harm would be to not see it for what it is, because then that thing is not embraced, recognized, or, it's like we're creating more distortion. But the greatest presence is seeing something in honest truth for how it is. Okay, seeing it for how it is. And this doesn't mean, like I said, enforcing anything here that we feel is creating harm to others. Now, this does mean that we have the right to interfere if we see harm being created upon another by someone who cannot defend themselves, like a child or someone who is vulnerable in some capacity. That doesn't mean let that person get robbed, let that person get physically harmed. No, of course not. Okay, that's discernment here. I'm talking about like engaging in a way here that's not creating harm upon others' path. Okay, but also obviously not just allowing violence to take place. If someone is being threatened, then you're in a position to protect or stand in there, okay? Because you are able to see the harm and the threat clearly for what it is, and you might be in a position to protect other or to defend other, and that's fine. Okay, because the person creating that harm is bringing that karma upon themselves. Okay, they're bringing the karma upon themselves by trying to hurt someone or do some harm upon someone. And so that definitely is allowed. You're not going to just be like, well, it's all God's will and way, it's all love and light, allow the harms to happen. No. Okay, but then this is very delicate, because we could say, well, the harm is this system and this thing, and then we want to fight the big thing, or trying to fight the big thing. Or like I said, we're just enforcing that. We're feeding it more negative energy. Doesn't need that at all. Okay, and so the biggest courage that you can actually encompass right now is what you're being asked to encompass. Courage to face your own distorted lens, your own identities, and surrender it to God, to the divine. Release the need for control. Release the need to change anything. You can't. There is no changing of anything. There's just changing your own internal energy. Okay, or at least not even changing. It's more of like releasing what isn't true, seeing through what's not true within you. And then this allows you to make shifts and changes here, okay? Beautiful angel, this is your reading. I don't feel I need anything more, okay? But I do feel like there's a consistent energy and effort that must be fed into this. Like, we have to dedicate ourselves and commit ourselves to this. It's not going to be a flick of a switch, taking off the veil. It's not, oh, now I understand. Now I'm enlightened. Now I know that I have this identity or this veil. It's like it takes a great effort to undo that understanding and that belief that I am this social justice warrior, or I am this humanitarian, or I am this righteous person that's fighting inequality, or I am like, no, you're not. There is no I am, there is no I. Okay, and the more you believe that you have that role or that you are that thing, it's the more suffering you're creating here, and the more division. And we don't need division here in the collective. We need love, we need truth, and we need clarity, and we need to be beacons of lights for others. Okay, well, we don't need to, but that is the divine purpose here. All right, beautiful angel, this is your reading. I love you very much. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye. Pile 1, I totally forgot your postcard. Your postcard. I lifted the tarot here. I haven't seen it. And this is your message from Spirit, okay? Let's read what Spirit wants to communicate to you. So it says, Dearest you, we are gathering our magic together to help you celebrate your new beginning. Oh, we did have a 1 here. Okay, you're stepping into a new version of your life, getting to tell a new story as you create it. Doesn't it feel like spring when the urge to expand wells up inside you from a primal place? The form of what you are growing has yet to take shape, and it is exciting to experience this new and fresh beginning. It's normal to feel both push and pushback when entering any kind of new relationship. It's okay to admit you don't really know what to expect. what you can know is it's time to dive in and allow your new version of life to take shape through you on behalf of your partner in life, spirit. You have made it to a new level of awakening and contributing, and we are so excited to see where this will take you next. We're so proud of you. So the new version of you is to encompass this energy that we just channeled, and it's okay to fall back in that veil. But as long as we get back on and see that we're still a work in progress, you're going to create a whole new reality here. Okay. This is the first step, like I said, to this awakening. I feel like it's a new you, a new way of engaging with collective. Okay. Provided this is your energy, of course. And, it's going to shift your reality. It really is. It's going to shift your relationship. It's going to shift your engagement. It's going to shift your world. Okay. But we might feel a lot of this push-pull and a lot of this adjustment that needs to happen while we gain our bearings, while we learn to surrender and let go and see through this. It's a process here. Okay. But we got to know when we're falling back in some old system of belief, because the fear comes online and it distorts us back into old ways. Okay. So beautiful angel, this is your reading. Now I'm done, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Pile number 2, you guys pick card number 1 here with ancient sound frequencies, rebalance energy, and frequency vibration, and your oracle cards, which I have not looked at. And we asked spirit in regards to your contribution here to the collective. What's going to be your purpose, your guidance in regards to healing collective, or what you can do for the greatest and highest good? Okay. And so you guys pick this ancient sound frequencies. I'm going to lay out these cards, and I do ask you to sit through this process and tap into your intuition to see whether this pile resonates for you or not. Okay. So something is coming through right away here. I feel like you might be exhausted here. Okay. I feel like this pile definitely seems to be a healing type energy. So you could definitely be a light worker, or if you identify as like an empath or some form of a healer or some energy. And if you don't, the capacity is within you. However, I feel like your environment, it might not necessarily be enforcing certain highlights here about you or allowing this to come out. So there seems to be a mismatch of what's around you. Okay, vibrationally, and this is talking about the ancient sound, because everything has a sound frequency. Okay, everything from homes and cities and trees and people. And I feel like there is something in regards to the environment which is a mismatch to the sound vibration in order to allow this potential of self to come online here. Okay, some of you guys might be healers through way of speaking, singing, okay, or using sound bowls or music or whatever instruments, okay, but it could be, like I said, through way of word, like through communication, okay, like speakers, or like passing down certain wisdoms, like ancestral wisdoms. Okay, and if you're not, this could still be your pile. Okay, because we're going to be looking at sort of where you're being supported or guided. And so if you're in an environment that isn't vibrating to allow there to be this to come online, we never see this within ourselves because it's muffled. It's hidden under a bushel of other energy that sort of drowns out that noise. Okay, because it's just like if there's someone whispering in a concert, you don't hear it, right? But if you're in a room where there's no noise and someone's whispering, you can hear it. And so your energy really depends on what's going on around. Now, it's not that it's going to take away from the fact that maybe this energy is whispering, right? But it's like it can't thrive here. Okay, that was a channel. Let's see. So we see health. I will honor the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. Okay, so body health, but also I usually tap into health, could be on the spiritual level. Okay, even though this is talking about the vessel, but it's like soul health, mental health. Okay, physical, spiritual health. And so 59 Uranus. Uranus is a ruling planet for Aquarius. It's tower energy here, 59. Okay, so 14, which is Sagittarius energy, and Taurus as well. And so we have Lord Ganesh with infinite abundance. Obstacles are being removed. Spiritual support and connections are increasing. Exactly what I was feeling here. Okay, so infinite abundance is always around, but it might not be surrounding us at this time. And so obstacles being removed, maybe the environments, the thing that wasn't allowing there to be this thing to come online, this thing of you, this thing of beauty that comes through you, that needs to be nurtured or supported or seen without distortion. Yeah, Tower energy. Okay, so the cat will gift you with attentive senses. This deck is hilarious. Attentive senses. So when we're attentive, it's like we're very present, so that we could sense what's going on around us, who's around us, what they're doing. We're attentive. Cats are very independent. Cats are also about intuition. It's divine feminine energy. If you're pulled to pile 3, there could definitely be a message there from pile 3, which is about the divine feminine. So we have 55 and 1. 55 is a master number. Change is the only constant. Divinely orchestrated change. It says egos, pitfall, stress level, fanaticism, excessive sense of duty, fixation on dogmas, impatience, intolerance, ideal of perfection, judgment of others. We're just talking about others. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Okay, and then we have charity. This came out for yesterday's reading. Okay, so charity is like the 6 pentacle card. It's how we are invested through an act of service or giving. Okay, giving of ourselves, giving of our energy, giving of our resources. Number 4 is all about structure, foundations, planning. Here we have Saturn in Cancer. Saturn's the ruling planet for Capricorn and Aquarius, which we were getting heavy Aquarius energy coming through. Okay, and then we have pocket of protection. I was going to say perfection. Ideal of perfection. Pocket of protection. Yarrow. Pocket of protection, okay? Let me see a pair of hands here, but they're like made of metal, like a knight. Yeah, because the knights are all cards about action. But this metal is like a defensive shield energy here. And so there's that protection energy. But it's like protecting what you can do and how you go about doing what you do here. Interesting. All right. And then we have cyclicity with elderberry. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Cyclical laity. Anyway, this is all about the cycles, okay? So the moon cycles, just like the tide cycles, everything comes in cycles. Everything comes in cycles here, okay? Life and death, beginnings and endings. Anything with form has cycle. All right, and then we have expectations 44. This also came out in yesterday's reading. Interesting. We have some Libra energy here with the scales, but I'm really getting that charity, that 6 pentacle. 44 is a master number. Integrity is a foundation, treating the earth and home as a temple, manifestation and leadership. Okay, 444. You might be seeing 3 4s as an angel number. 4s are all about structure, foundation, stability, planning. Okay, and number 9, attraction. The energy of attraction amplifies the qualities that attract and support us on our journey towards inner balance and harmony. So we attract our environment. Our environment is a reflection of what we've attracted. Okay, and so this is what we need to be conscious of. What are we attracting here? Shaman, 12, healing energy. Yes, I did feel that from this, that you are a healer. For sure, okay? Whether you know it or not. And look at this hands holding this orb, okay? You could be a fortune sort of teller. Now I say fortune, but it's like being able to foresee, a seer, okay? Like providing this, this to the collective, but we have to have an environment where we can foster this type of an energy. because you are very, very healing. So I have a postcard here from Spirit, which we'll read. Hopefully I don't do what I did for pile 1 and forget. Put it here, and then we'll read it, okay? And if I forget, it'll be inserted after your reading. So let's pull the tarot and ask Spirit for pile number 2. What exactly can they do here to the collective in order to contribute healing energy here? What is it that pile 2 can do? What is their purpose that they're being guided and called to do here to the collective in order to walk their highest path for the greatest and highest good of pile 2? Spirit, please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Pile 2, thank you so much for being here. I'm so blessed to do your reading. One more. One more card. All right. Let's take a look. So we have the 9 of Swords in reverse. So that's the card of anxiety. Okay, could be the Dark Night of the Soul. Anxiety. All right. And then we have the Chariots. So success. Shadow integration. We're working with the universe. Okay, to find balance. Could be travel. We have the Star here. So the Star is all about our purpose, healing, destiny, our vision. All right, Aquarius energy again, Cancer energy. Here we have the 7 of Cups in reverse. And we have the 3 of Wands. And it is in reverse. Okay, and then the bottom of the deck, we have the Princess of Sacred Circles. So this is the Page of Pentacles. Okay. Let me tap into this energy and channel what it is the Spirit is communicating to you. Okay, pile number 2, interesting energy. I love your energy here because I do feel like underneath what you're experiencing is beautiful energy of a healer, and you do have a great purpose here, okay? So what is your greatest contribution you can do here? There's a gift that resides within you, and it is healing the collective. And I did say at the beginning, if you skipped it, okay, it is being potentially dormant or offline due to your environment and what you're experiencing. But underneath it, this gift is through way of, it could be sound. So you could make music. You could be an orator. Okay. So through way of words, healing, you could be a speaker of sorts. You could be, I don't know, but it's definitely providing healing. So you're a light worker here. Okay. But like I said at the beginning, everything carries sound. A vibration, okay, a sound vibration that emits from whatever it is. There's always a hum, a vibration, and energy, regardless if it's a person, place, or a thing. Okay, and so what this is really showing me is, I guess, a current state. Okay, and I feel like your current state right now is misaligned. Whatever's around you, I don't know if it's the city you're living in. Okay, and maybe it served a purpose. You had to stay there, or you did what you did, or maybe a group of people or the job you're in. Whatever your environment is right now, it's mismatched. And as long as it is mismatched, this part of you that is being called to come online, that could provide this healing energy to the collective, is sort of not able to do so, because the most important thing that's right here, right now, that needs to be dealt with is aligning yourself so that you are supported and seen, and whoever is around you, whatever community of people, they are able to support this growth and this version of you. Because I feel like you have either outgrown your old version, or you're just, you're misaligned with this now. And as long as you're misaligned and staying there in that community or that hometown or that job place, then it holds hostage this beautiful gift. Okay, but the gift doesn't disappear. And so Spirit is talking about whatever you're supposed to be contributing here. It doesn't vanish here. And so maybe there's a panic, maybe, okay, with some of you guys. I'm supposed to be here, or I'm supposed to do that, or I should be. I should, like, you have an idea and an understanding here of, and that's great that you have this, desire to contribute more, be more, do more, but it's like, that isn't helping your situation by hanging on to the expectation of what you think you need to do or be, or that you should be doing something more, because maybe you don't know what it is you should be doing. But it's like, I need to find my purpose, or I know it's not what I'm doing here. And all you need to do, Spirit is saying, is focus on your situation that's misaligned right now, because your purpose is there. It's protected. You are protected to get there, and you will get there. But you have to focus on what it is that's in front of you right now that's misaligned. And you're being guided intuitively here. Some of you guys are being shown through dreams. Signs, symbols are just a strong feeling of an intuition that where I'm at is not working. And so you might already be amidst, some of you guys, I do feel, amidst the process of the deconstruction, the tower, the awakening process of something greater. My intuition knows it. And this is not it, whatever this is here, because it's not supporting me, okay? And so we might be doing many, many sort of cycles here. Cycles, because cycles are the best way for us to experience what we're needing to experience in order for us to break certain cycles from within us. So we could have generational cycles or ways of being, habits, understandings that we're breaking free from. Okay, certain people and certain energy vibration. And it could just be like habitual engagement. And so I do feel like there's an involvement that you have, okay, in that dynamic, a role that you're playing, that you might be working through breaking that cycle. And so it's like, yes, other people could definitely limit, okay, like our environment is limiting in some capacity, but of course, abundance always exists outside of that. There's infinite abundance. So we cannot use this as sort of an excuse or a hindrance. It's like, this thing is holding me back. These people, this community, I got to stay there. It's like, no. So we have a role here. And so I feel with this group, it's like, I'm going to not do anything about it. Okay. And maybe we tried many times over. Okay, we tried, we did this or we did that. And now it's like, I'd rather just focus on and see this new path opening for me, or I feel like I'm called to it, but it's like Spirit keeps pushing you back to this reality that you are living. Okay, because there's a reality here that you are living in the 3D that's misaligned. It's not going to go away. And so there is Spirit that is removing certain things, okay, but Spirit removes certain things, okay, through way of this tower, but you are being asked to shift your vibration, because you are being shown how and what it is that your vibration should be a match to. And so the more we sort of hang on to the old, or repeat certain patterns, or do certain things, okay, because we have certain beliefs, or we have certain understandings, or a sense of duty for some of you guys, or a loyalty or a commitment to a certain way of being. It could be we're just addicted to the old way of being, or that old job, or that relationship, or this is where I was raised, I feel like something's taking a toll on you for sure. Okay, I do feel it's mental health. Okay, and mental health, of course, affects your physical health. We might feel drained. We might feel very, like, not in an energy that can support collective, when we're barely even able to free ourselves of our own sort of prisons. Okay? And so I feel like Spirit is really saying what you can do here is the vibration in which you're sitting in is going to attract what you're sitting of a vibration to. And so you might desire something outside of what you're experiencing, but a desire for that just keeps that desire alive. It's like a wish for an anticipation of what my future could be. And Spirit is saying, no, this isn't about wishes and desiring and seeing lack. This is about abundance in the right here, right now. And so there is a situation you're dealing with that is misaligned, and abundance is right around it, outside of it, flowing all around you. And when you vibrate the energy of abundance, not what I wish it to be or how I want it to be, I am vibrating with what is and seeing the beauty, the love, the gratitude, and everything that actually is, and living as if I'm already in that vibration. Not that it's going to come to me one day or eventually I'll get there. It's like, no, then we'll just keep pushing out the future. Okay, because when we manifest in that way, that the future holds my happiness, eventually I'll get there. My dreams seem far away. It's like, well, yes, they'll forever be your reality. And so, no, my happiness is right here, right now. My abundance is happening right here, right now. My experience right here, right now has blessings in it. And I'm going to hold this vibration. This is difficult to do, especially if we're already feeling drained here. And this is why we must let go of patterns and things that do drain us. So we could have people that drain us, things, again, that are very misaligned. And so you'll know if this is your energy, because it's like I don't have the capacity to, or the energy, because it feels like this misalignment is keeping me very low vibrational or drained. Or like I said, I can't sleep, or I'm fantasizing or dreaming about something that could be better. Okay? There's no need to fantasize about what could be better. There's just being in the present moment and then shifting the energy and recognizing what energy you're in. Okay? So I feel like the opportunities that you have to encompass your purpose, because I feel like there's a healing purpose that you hold. And this is a collective reading, so everyone is different what this healing energy is. But I do feel it is something you're supposed to do. Okay, something you're supposed to be doing, engaging here. And a lot of you guys, it's the voice. Some of you guys, it's for all of you guys, it's dealing with the collective, okay, and through a way of healing. And I do feel like it's through passing down information, okay, through words, through songs, through music, through touch, through some healing platform or way, okay. And I feel it's not at its capacity, okay, but that is your purpose. It's healing. The star is all about healing. This says healing energy, okay, but I feel like we can't move in that direction until we integrate the parts of ourselves here, the parts that maybe are habitual, the parts that maybe are keeping us in pattern, the parts that are the shadowy parts here. Okay? And so I feel like there might even be a judgment of self, or an idea that you have about your situation. Okay, and so Spirit is coming through here with like seeing through the mind speak is really, really important. Like you're needing to really clean the energy. It's you have more power than you think. And right now I feel there's a dirty energy around you. Okay, so dirty, it's creating distortion in your energy. No matter how much of a healer you are, no matter how much of a good intent you have, okay, and you do have the ability to remove those distortions, because if there's people in your energy that aren't supposed to be there anymore, then we're needing to let go, we're needing to identify, we're needing to not cast judgment. And when we cast judgment on self, we cast judgment on other. So if we say, well, this person just can't do it, and so I got to do it, or I have to, it's like, no, we're casting a judgment here. And it automatically casts it on the situation and the other. Okay, and so this is the type of stuff that Spirit is talking about here with your reading, because I do feel like you're contributing something to the collective. Okay, it's a real blessing here, and it's a real gift. It's a service to other, and it needs pure energy in order to perform its act. You, okay, through Spirit, through you. Okay, and I don't feel it's moved forward just yet. I feel like it's an opportunity. I feel like you're going to go through a learning experience, and so you're just started. And I feel for some of you guys, maybe you're already dabbling in it. Okay, maybe you already understand sort of where it's going to head to, or you already feel it's a destined calling. For some of you guys, you haven't even seen it yet because your environment is still very heavily distorted here, you know? But there's a feeling. All of you guys have a feeling and a knowing. It's like there's something greater. There's some other purpose. I know I'm here other than what it is I'm experiencing here, because whatever you're experiencing here is heavy and draining. Okay, so let's just see what else Spirit wants to communicate to you. Pile number 2. Okay, so let's see, and then we'll read your postcard. For pile 2, Spirit, what are they needing to know about their purpose or their calling, or what they're being encouraged to do here regarding collective healing, or guidance? Because this seems like Spirit's really just giving you permission to focus on your own personal situation at hand here. Okay, and I say situation, but it could be like a long-standing situation, like I've lived here all my life, or I've been in this community, or I've had this job, or that's situational, you know. I don't care if it's 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 10 years, 5 years, you know, or a week. There's something here that's, I feel it's longer than a week though, because I do feel it's a repeat thing. It's like something that's in your day, day in, day out, day in, day out, day in, day out. And it's really impacting the vibration here. Okay. So the Emperor, empowerment, being your own boss here. Okay. And so if we don't know our own power, then we're under the thumb of another, which is creating that distortion, like I said. But for a lot of you guys, there seems to be this awakening of the self, the empowered self. And like I said, with the hands, when I laid out these cards, hands are about doing. Okay, like the actions we take. Same with this Emperor, is all about action. And so if we're empowered to take action and being called to take action, we need to make sure that our community supports this and we have energy. We can't be siphoning it elsewhere. And so if you're giving this energy, or if someone else is pulling this energy from you, or silencing it or suppressing it or watering it down or distorting it, then it doesn't come online. So it needs to be clean energy, like this Emperor, Aries, okay, divine masculine. 8 of Swords. So this is a limiting thought. This is where our mind gets distorted and starts to believe limitation and lack. Infinite abundance is the opposite of this 8 Swords. I can't do it. I'm not in a position to do it. I'm not empowered to do it. I can't be the boss of it. I'm not in control in a way here that allows me to take action. Now, you're not in control, the divine is, but your situation, circumstance isn't the boss of you. It's not controlling you. That's a limiting thought. Okay, and it's getting in the way of your vision or your dream or your hope here. 7 of Swords in reverse. Yeah, so we're needing to see a truth, okay? Pile number 2. I think you are engaged in carrying a distorted understanding about your position. You're obviously not doing it on purpose here, okay? It's like an in denial of your engagement in this relationship to this person, place, or thing that is enforcing some form of a limiting experience that doesn't need to be limited, because you actually have the power to take action and to do something different. And that's when your options open up, because you are really being called to deliver some form of healing here to the collective. But you cannot do that when you're in distortions and limitations and denials. When your beliefs aren't congruent with that in which you're about to deliver. Okay, this is powerful energy. Spirits has been trying to wake you up And Spirit is saying you will be successful here, but you must find the state of balance. You must go through the healing experience. And for some of you guys, this could be karmic cycles, breaking cycles of habitual ways of being or engagement that hasn't helped you in the past, that's kept you sort of not seeing your truth. And you're breaking free from this. And some of you guys have already been seeing your truth, and now you're just breaking free from these thoughts and these chains and these understandings so you can be empowered to walk in the steps of where you're being called. This is high vibration, okay? The Emperor here. And so this attraction is when I am empowered, then I'm bringing everything of that vibration towards me, and my whole environment starts to support that. The people that I work with, the community around me, the city I live in, the empire I'm building, okay, it's all a match to my vibration. But I gotta undo these thoughts one by one by one, or go to the root. And the root is that there is abundance, there's no limitation. There's nobody controlling me, there's nobody doing anything here. My situation is what I make it out to be. That's the honest truth here. Okay, I do feel like maybe there's one more card. So let's see, Spirit, what else does pile 2 need to know? What questions do they have then about their situation, circumstance that might help them regarding this energy? Ace of Cups, beautiful. So self-worth, this is the old adage, I cannot be of service and contribute to the collective until my cup is full. And right now, I said I felt you were drained. Okay, and I feel your heart is good intention. But intention means really nothing because it could come from a pain. The pain says, I must suffer to show that I love whatever this is, or I must be devoted to this thing where I like erode my own cup runs dry. It's like, no, we have to choose ourselves. Okay, we have to choose ourselves and fill our own cup. Otherwise, we can't fill anyone else's cup. So this is knowing our true self-worth, being completely abundant within our own energy so that we're empowered in order to pour into situations. Okay, like be that giving cup because you're overflowing. And so you can give and contribute to situations. However, this isn't from a place of selfishness, and this isn't from a place of blocking out anything that, you know, we're judging as being toxic or anything like this. This is about working within your own energy, releasing that in which you might have an unhealthy engagement with, and recognizing it so that it doesn't take from you or drain you. So we might have to understand our own boundaries, but it's our own self-worth, because the only reason we would be in any situation that was misaligned is because we don't understand that we can fill our own cup. And so we think that other people or situations are going to somehow validate us or make us feel more whole. Okay. Or we're just very selfish, and so we're giving to a situation, but it's at our own expense and our own cost. And so I feel like we could get very drained here. Okay, and so your main focus, fill your own cup, know your self-worth, work on your own empowerment, your decisions that you're making. Understand when you carry thoughts that limit you, but when there's people, situations, circumstances, vibrations around you that are actually not helping you and they're hindering you or keeping you in a low vibration, and be honest about it. Be truthful about it. You have power to do something about it. And only then can you then align yourself with this shaman. I do feel, though, like I want to see what's with the shaman energy. Okay, so it says healing energy. What is this? Can we get like a sneaky peek here in towards the healing energy or this purpose or this? Wow, that's way too many spirits, and I am not about to read all these. So let's take a look. Spirits for the shaman energy for the collective. This healing energy for the collective. What is it that's once they resolve this anxieties and limiting thoughts and vibrational situation, circumstance, what is this shaman energy about? So we have releasing from the devil. Wow, Capricorn energy and the High Priestess. Okay, remember saying this cat was intuition. Okay, and remember I was telling you with this health, it was like something about health all around. Spiritual, soulful, okay, physical. I feel like you are faced with challenge for sure. Okay, that really feels it's limiting. It really does with this devil. You don't feel free of it. Okay, you're battling some form of a devil here. And if you're engaged with someone that might be battling a devil, as long as you're sort of chained to that, then you're sort of going through an experience of the devil as well via them. Okay, but you can be directly engaged with the devil. So again, this cyclical behaviors, this could be addictions, patterns, ways of being that I need to break free from, like I mentioned. So the only way to be able to free myself from this is to experience however many times I have to experience so I could see how to break free from these devils. Okay, some of you guys might be battling addictions, toxic relationships. And I say toxic, okay, but it's misaligned. So it doesn't allow me the freedom. Okay, but once I break free, there's an understanding here that I gain, a wisdom that I gain, that I'm able to now take what I've learned and share it with the collective. Okay, because I feel you're being intuitively called to share this healing energy. So if you're experiencing the shadow and it's really having an impact on you, you might create your beautiful music. You might create your manuscripts, a book that you might put together, helping other people heal through abusive relationships or addictions or battling their own devils, whatever it might be. Some experience you're having when you break free and liberate yourself. Okay, then you're able to speak of it with this higher level of intelligence. And so it could even be as simple as, like dealing with breaking out of low-paying jobs or jobs where you outgrew or relationships that, hold you back in life, people, situations, circumstances. It's like working with people who might be going through oppressive situations or don't know how to make change in their life, who feel oppressed or who feel challenged because you've gone through it. And so the best way for us to know how to engage and be there for others and contribute to the collective is to have the experience ourselves. And so we might not like the experience we have, It's like, I don't like that I had to go through this, or I had to battle that, or I had to break the cycle of this. It's like you had to in order for you to be available, in order for you to be the healer, in order for you to deliver the thing. And you're breaking out of this limiting experience. It feels very chained. It feels like it really is weighing you down. It's draining you, okay? Physically, it's taking a toll. So very stressful here on you. But you're being guided through this High Priestess energy, okay, which is the intuition and spirit is showing you how to deal with these oppressive energies and what's not true so that you can be in line with a greater truth here. Okay, you have the power, and I don't think you see your own power. You're a really strong, beautiful energy here, okay? And this is all about freeing yourself so you're in a position of power, a position of strength. Okay, so let's see what the spirit wants to talk to you about in this postcard. It says, unlock your magic. So it says, dearest you, going the extra mile to achieve your dreams. That's what the star card is, okay? And putting in some overtime will reap big rewards. Now is the time for you to act, to stir up some energy and put those plans into action. Emperor, and then remember the hands, taking action. Okay, but I feel you feel drained here. There are many windows of opportunity that open up, like I said, but close quickly when you don't take the risk and go for it. Today, be confident that your hard work will pay off and you'll feel that satisfaction and fulfillment of reaching your desired outcome. It might turn out even better than you expected. Isn't that amazing? Remember how much work you're willing to put in we will match it tenfold on our end. Everyone over here is rooting for you to win the game of life. So just do it. Loving you so, so much. So again, this is saying the power is always within you. No one else is going to do this. No one's going to break this devilly chain, the cycle, the bad habits, the understanding, the limiting thought I have. We have to get in front of it and say, can I see through this illusion of the devil that isn't real, and break that pattern or that understanding and know that the power is in my hands. And I could choose today, right here, right now, because infinite abundance exists right here, right now. It's not a state of the future. It's not going to come around and happen eventually. It is right here, right now. What can I choose to align myself with this vibration? Because whatever you are aligned with right now is not allowing that vibration to come online. So the first thing is to admit it, see it, and then be conscious of shifting your energy out of it today. And Spirit is promising you this tenfold, saying, all you got to do is be this mustard seed, this little seed of hope here, okay, that allows you to say, I'm going to do what I can today, no matter how small this shift is. And then Spirit takes it and multiplies it and opens these opportunities. Okay, then you get a whole lot of chances and doors opening for you to be able to align yourself, because you are in a position to do this. But if you don't see it, okay, if you don't see it, if your cup's not full, and you're too drained because you're giving to other situations that are distorted, it doesn't allow you to put yourself in front of these doors. Look at these two beautiful people here. Okay, so helping the collective, okay, it could be relational. You could be helping people in relationship, bringing people coming together. Okay, there's a lot of healing here. So what's your shaman energy? It's working through that, releasing yourself from devil. Okay, whatever the devil looks like in your world, breaking free from those illusions of limitations that aren't true by seeing your own truth. And do not fall into someone else's truth. Maybe someone else told you, you know, what your truth is, what you're capable of. You're not capable of this, and so you believed it. Not confident that I can do this, or that I'm only able to do that, or that I have this addiction, or that I have this unhealthy thing. It's like, as long as you tell your story, that it becomes your reality. No, you don't. You're not that story. You're right here, right now. You're not your past. You're right here, right now, and you're absolutely in a position of power. Okay? Beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I will see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye. Hello, pile number 3. You guys picked card 21 with the isosahedron, the divine feminine energy. Now, you don't have to be female, like I said, to resonate with this, okay? But the divine feminine energy is healing energy. It's all about love, okay, and receptivity. And so we're going to see how this plays into your reading. What we're looking at and what we asked Spirit was, what is your purpose here in the collective to be able to create big amounts of change and shifts in the collective consciousness, okay? So that whatever negativity or whatever is going on in the matrix, whatever distortions are happening, how can you counteract this? What can you personally do? What's within your power? Okay, so if this doesn't resonate, then go check out another pile. I'll lay out all these cards, and then I'll begin to channel what your message is. But the best way to know whether this is for you or not is to sit through this card layout and see if it resonates. Okay, so beautiful divine feminine energy. All right, so we have envy. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. Interesting, this came up for yesterday's reading. All right, and then we have Jupiter and Chiron with 46. So this is the number 10. 10 is all about completions, ends of cycles, transformation. Okay, but 10 is also 1, which is about the new beginnings, potential opportunities. So we're getting some Aquarius and some Virgo, Gemini, and some Leo energy. Also, Jupiter is the ruling planet for Sagittarius and Pisces. So I'm getting a lot of energy from this. The wounds are being seen and magnified here, okay? But Chiron's the wounded healer. So we have Melchizedek, and it says higher learning. You have learned from experience. More inner study is now required to further progress. You're probably like, oh my goodness, more inner study? So you have some hermit energy. I feel like you've been doing a lot of healing. I feel like you have done the inner work. I feel like it's the fruition now of this inner work that's coming on actually with the Chiron. It's like embodying this now on earth in order to run with whatever that energy is. I don't feel like we're always healing. Okay, but I feel like you're the one providing this higher learning with this Chiron to the collective. Yeah, like breaking people's beliefs here. That might be creating separation or some form of opposite of love, okay? The boar will associate you to your instincts. This deck is funny the way it words it. So your instincts is kind of like your animal nature, right? It's kind of like an intuition. It's like maybe your birthright without the ego. How you engage is your instinct. But when we say people are boorish, they could be very stubborn as well. Okay. We have return to the world, growth, 102 and 3. 3 is divine feminine energy. And it says shining, enlightened leadership, testifying of resilience, inner light, being a mentor. Exactly what I was telling you. Okay. This Chiron, the wounded healer is like, you're now being this teacher. Okay, being a mentor, uplifting others. Exactly. Being a selfless builder. Type 3, the achiever, emotional center between appearing and authenticity. And we have the solar plexus energy, which is the ego, shining. Okay, we have detachment. Venus in Aquarius. So Venus, ruling planet for Taurus, Libra. Number 11, master number, divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going. Okay, and then we have versatility, the sun in Gemini with another 3. So more divine feminine energy. Versatility. Okay, but Gemini is all about the mind and how we engage with others. So there is something about relationship that pulls through also with the Venus is relationship. How we communicate, our mindset regarding relationships, something being highlighted here with the sun, more Leo energy, also divine masculine with the sun. And we have discovery. So Mercury, yes, feeling a lot of Mercury from the Gemini and from the 1. Where did we see 1? I thought we had a 1. Maybe it wasn't this pile. Yeah, we did, because 10 is 1. Okay, so 1. So we have Mercury and Sagittarius with discovery, and the number 9. Virgo, Cancer energy, discovery. Okay. Then we have light in the darkness. Oh my goodness, shining light in the darkness. Look at the sun, divine masculine energy, but that's in a cage here. St. John's wort. So I remember, I don't know if this is still a thing, probably St. John's wort vitamins would help you to be in a more peaceful sort of mindset. If you were battling depression, you could take St. John's wort here to give you a higher state of peace and happiness. Okay, if you were battling some form of depression here. Light in the darkness. Wow. Okay, and so we have coping with the number 9, another 9. So we have 99, master number. Okay, being the change you wish to see and helping humanity to release what no longer works. Exactly what I was feeling. You're this light here. Okay, coping. And then we have tenderness, 40 and 4. 4 is divine masculine energy. It says the energy of tenderness activates our capacity to open our hearts and approach the world and each other with gentleness and care. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then we have deceit with 36. Interesting with this envy. It's kind of in the same lines, okay, with this deceit. And the number 9, another 9. You guys might be saying 999. So we have betrayal and manipulation. Okay, and then we have this postcard, which we'll read at the end of your reading. And it is a message from spirits. I don't want to cover that. I don't want to cover that either. Let me put that right here. Okay, a message from spirits at the end. Hopefully I don't forget. Let's pull your tarot and see. Spirit for pile number 3. What is their contribution to the collective, their purpose, what they're being called to deliver here in order to drive more harmony, more peace, into the collective, their role to play. What is their role to play here? How could they bring more peace, harmony, and what they're being called to? I do feel those two are together, so I'm going to leave them. Feel this one. I feel one more. Okay. Let me make some room here. All right. So we have the Six of Swords. I don't read bottom of the deck reverse. Six of Swords is moving out of troubled waters. And we have the Empress in reverse, the divine feminine energy. Okay, and then Taurus, Libra energy, Five of Cups in reverse. And we have the Star, Aquarius energy. The Star is all about healing. And we have the Ace of Cups, beautiful. So this is all about self-love, self-worth, emotional new beginning. We have judgments. All right, and then we have the Nine of Swords. So a lot of these cards came out for pile 2. You guys might have resonated with pile 2. Okay, Nine of Swords in reverse. Six of Swords. Under that, we have the Two of Swords. Okay, let me tap into this energy. You guys can click ahead. Okay, pile number 3, beautiful angel. I love your energy very, very much here, okay? You are a pivotal role here to the collective in your capacity to what you're to deliver. You're a beacon of light here. And I feel like to get to this stage, we have had to do a lot of work. Okay, pile 1 was sort of the beginning of a journey that would unfold in this way, because I feel like we had to plunge the depths of who we are and what we're about and really look through our own identities, beliefs, okay, and really see through our own ego. And this is the only way for us to understand the world. The secrets of the universe, how other people function, becomes very visible to us. And then we're able to engage in a world very conscious, and we can consciously impact certain things by either not engaging, but just holding the truth, holding the light, okay, or saying and doing what we need to in certain points in time where we're being called to speak truths or to say what we're needing to say or do what we need to do. But we need to be conscious first. And I feel like this pile is working through this beautiful state of consciousness, this state of bliss, which is really about transcending past all of the distorted illusions that the ego can create of suffering, okay? And once we're there, once we finally sort of, because there isn't really a destination so much as it is, once we see through the illusion, the thing that creates the suffering, the thing that keeps people chained up, what do? We come back to help humanity see through the lies, see through the judgments, see through the distortions that we freed ourselves from. Okay, I feel like there is this having to know oneself in order to know the universe and to come back to deliver what you're delivering here. I feel like there's a beautiful energy about you that's coming with an open heart, okay, with this tenderness, opening your hearts to others and approaching the world here to be a beacon and an example of that in which the universe needs more of, okay, the wounded healer. And so this provides healing because you are allowing others to see how you embody that of love, okay, like I'm talking unconditional love, love of the divine creator, love of all of God's sentient beings. And so as you stand in truth and love and radiate this, okay, you are an example to others to do the same thing. And so when we truly love self, we make decisions that are in line for the greatest and highest good, means we follow our passion. We are no longer at the mercy of the control of the deceiving hands that be. So if there's like challenging organizations, corporations, structures, okay, like big pharma, corrupt educational systems, big banking systems, whatever it is that's trying to force or coerce, it's like, it doesn't work. It can't work. I see through the game and the illusion. And not only do I see it, I am now spreading the awareness here through way of me seeing the illusion, calling it out in a way that it just stands in truth. I don't need to fight it. Okay, so this is a lot like pile one, because I feel pile one was sort of butting up against fighting systems. Okay, there's no fight here. There's when I see through the illusion, when I know what the greater truth is, when I see the challenges come up, I don't stoop to that level. I don't fight in the pig pen with those lower level energies. I hold a higher vibration, and then I teach others as well how to hold that vibration. And so the only way we could do this is to have an open heart of love, okay? And like I said in one, it doesn't mean we love the people that are corrupt. This means when I am holding the highest vibration of love and truth, that means I speak the truth. And so I'm able to stand in power to call out anything that is limiting, that is restricting, that isn't in truth, that isn't in the highest for humanity, because I can see it clearly. Okay, because I feel like what most of society does, okay, with this coping is find a way to fit into society. Because one thing humans don't like is being too far left or too far right, or in some way not being understood, because they're so different, you know? And it limits us from our authenticity. But this pile isn't about being the same. It isn't about just sort of keeping the status quo. This pile is all about authenticity and truth. Authenticity and truth is what your greatest purpose is here, okay? But the truth of coming from the heart space, which is unconditional love of humanity, and being able to really, really see that within yourself allows others to be able to connect to that in themselves, to actually love themselves, support themselves, and stand behind their purpose. If they want to be a painter, if they want to be a doctor, if they want to be a YouTuber, if they want to do what they do, it's their highest purpose to do that and live fulfilled, so that they can then give to society from a heart space that's full. And I feel like society right now might not know how to connect to this part of self, because they're learning to manage and fill the shoes of what society expects of them, and rinse and repeat, and experience disappointments, and experience lack, and experience sadness. Because when our hearts and our soul and our destiny and our purpose is calling us, but we're too busy dealing with, coping with, strategizing with, living under the illusions of the matrix and society and what others expect of us at their own expense of happiness and freedom, then we are not living. We are not awakened. We're imprisoned. And so I feel like you break free and you awaken. Okay, if you're not awakened yet and you pick this pile, you're definitely on this, okay, this higher state of consciousness, this awareness, freeing yourself, liberating yourself, so that you're able to assist others free themselves as well from the matrix, okay? I feel like there's an awakening of seeing the truth that others might shy away from. And when we go through this process, sometimes it's very difficult to accept the fact that we've been lied to by big systems, by, it's like, well, why would the health care system try to harm us? It's like healthcare. Okay, it's like supporting our sickness and feeding that machine, and it's all a money generating machine. Okay, everything is set up here where whoever has the power to suppress is going to maintain the power to suppress, but they don't have to when So we break from this sort of understanding and the thumb and the trying to fit in and suppressing our own authenticity. Okay, and so hand in hand, being of true honor to stand behind our own purpose is that of choosing love. And so this divine feminine energy is also one of fighting against the and I don't like to use toxic masculinity at all, okay? But everything has a shadow and a light. And I feel like the patriarchal powers, like the masculine energy, okay, it doesn't have to be males so much as it is the masculine energy of control on humanity has put its thumb over the people. And they've been controlling the people. It's a dominated masculine energy. The masculine energy is that of the doer. You must work more. You must make more. You must be more. You must burn yourself to the ground trying to do at the expense of what? Your happiness. There's a purpose here. It's not about doing. It's so much about being. You know, if you're a painter, you're being that. You're in form of painting. You become one of that, of the paint itself. Okay, you're not doing the action of it. But if you're not a painter and you're being called to do something like this, then it becomes your sort of forced to a doing that's not in line with your purpose. And so this masculine energy of societal beliefs of how we have to do and be more, this is the thing you're shedding the light on, okay, with this beautiful feminine energy, because the divine feminine has been silenced for too long. And she's very powerful here. And she's also very instinctual. Okay, but the instincts are coming from the divine feminine, which is the heart space, compassion and love and truth and light. And we can really carry that because we don't have to beat the masculine with brute force. Because when we hold love, when we hold truth and vibration, when we open ourselves up from that angle, then we diffuse that of the other polarity, which is this chained, imprisoned masculine energy, okay, which is telling us what to do and who to be and how we have to be, and that's the only way we'll find joy. It's the only way we'll be abundant. It's like, no, because that's depression. That's not happiness. That's manipulation. It's making us believe in some sort of matrix that is not necessarily the truth of our universe. The truth of our universe is everything is abundant. Yes, do those things live in the universe? Yes. Those things also exist. Everything exists here in a beautiful universe. It consists of everything. And so if we want to live in the vibration of freedom and authenticity and having our cup full and our heart open and being in line with purpose and feeling that vibration and living that vibration and being that vibration, we're no longer pulled into the lower vibrations. You are no longer going to be pulled into this vibration. You're moving out of this state. And when you move out, and you could see it in hindsight, you will see who's still imprisoned. Okay, but you don't have to become a martyr or righteous and be on some sort of mission here that's going to free the people. No. But when you do become enlightened, when you do see from a higher state what the universe is like on this infinite side, it's like you can't help but see people who are imprisoned by their own ego, by their own doing, by their own identities, by their own beliefs, by their own ways of managing this corrupt system. And so you shine the light. You shine the light. You're choosing love of humanity, okay? And like teaching others to hold their own light, teaching others how to love themselves. Now, this could be through active teaching, through way of word, okay? Or through embodying that. And that's the biggest one. Because we all have teachers or people who say certain things, but if they're not embodied, it doesn't mean anything. They're just sort of a mouthpiece speaking about some sort of spiritual concept. This is all about embodying that of love and light. Living and choosing love is the example, the highest example that you could do. And so I feel like your purpose is to live in love and light, in truth, and follow your calling, your purpose. And it could be anything from proactively healing others, okay, to like directly, to doing what you love, which might have nothing to do with people. It could be a mechanic, it could be working at a restaurant, it doesn't matter, owning your own business. But this is your example of showing leadership. I embody this, doing what I love, but it has to be something that you love to do. Choosing it, being authentic enough to say, I choose this. I break free from the matrix. I see where there's distortion. I'm not too fearful to do my thing here and allow myself, okay? Because I don't need to chase happiness. I don't need to become a doer in a corporate society to prove myself at the expense of losing myself. No. Okay, so you are this beautiful light, and you are mentoring others by uplifting their vibration through your understanding. Because other people are in fear. Other people are also experiencing whatever you've experienced at one point in time. You know, the distortions and the deceits and the lies and the egos and the battle of the matrix. And so if we start to only see that, we believe that that's the only thing that exists, you know, and we don't got to get stuck in that. We're free. We're free of that. But we can stay stuck in it if we don't see that there's abundance. So there's humanity that could be blocked to seeing abundance, receiving abundance, because they're constantly on the perpetual hamster wheel of chasing the abundance. I must seek the abundance. I must seek the happiness. I must find it. I must do the thing. I have to enter the corporate world, make more, be more, show more. No. Just being authentic, opening the heart space from love and compassion. Okay? Like truth. Following truth is very scary to do, because it means we abandon that in which everyone else expected us to be and do. It's very courageous here. So let's see. Pile number 3. Let's close out this reading with what Spirit is saying, your purpose here in healing the collective consciousness, and what your role is, your purpose, how you can contribute here, what you can do, what you need to know, what you might not yet realize that you can. Oops. These two are falling and this one's calling. Calling and falling. So, yeah, freeing humanity from what? From the oppressive, devilly state here. Capricorn energy. Princess of Swords in reverse. So the Page of Swords. So where there's a lack of understanding, and the shadows, okay? Because again, there's light and dark polarity, okay? The negative and the positive polarity. And so this is like, what is the negative polarity? What are the distortions? What are the limitations? What is imprisoning humanity here? Do we understand this? Are we clear about our understanding? Do we see through the distortions, the egos, the shadows, the suffering? You can only see it. And once you see it, and then you can free others here, okay? The Hanged One. Yeah, so this is the Hanged Man. Pisces energy, Capricorn energy. Okay, but this is shown as a fetus. Yeah, it's like the birthing of humanity here, but it's under a new understanding, a new perception, a more enlightened perspective than others. And it could be completely different than other people, than society, you know? It's like, I believe in a complete different sort of understanding. Okay, but your birth to that understanding has a domino effect to humanity. Okay, it is an enlightened perspective too. 2 of Swords in reverse. And the Ace of Sacred Circles, it's the Ace of Pentacles, and then the High Priestess. Wow. Okay, so I feel like collectively we see that there's people who feel stuck, who feel challenged, who feel boxed in, who feel chained by whatever the big pharmas, the corporations, the big banking systems, the structures that be, because it's designed like that to hold us back or to chain us back. Okay. And so if we feel we have no way to move out of that, if we have no way to free ourselves from this, we stay stuck and we sort of manage and stay under the thumb of this thing. I feel like you're breaking out of this thing because this thing doesn't hold you back. You have a whole new understanding. a whole new understanding of how to see through this thing. Doesn't mean it's not happening. Okay, there really is, people who are trying to use greed and use whatever in their distorted energy. But if it doesn't work on humanity, then they cannot control, they cannot imprison, they cannot enslave, but we have to see through the illusion. Okay, now I'm using illusion because that in which isn't infinite is an illusion. It's temporary, it's form, meaning everything corrupt will eventually be seen through and fall. It's not self-sustaining. Illusion needs something to prop it up, to make it real. That's an illusion. It needs someone to believe in it, to buy it, to support it. If no one supports it, believes it, or sees it, it doesn't exist. Okay, and it all is only existing because people feel they're entrapped and they're buying into the system. They're not seeing through it. And I feel you see through it. You have choices that open up for you. You create a beautiful, this is also giving me embryo, by the way. It's like you create a beautiful universe here, okay? And you can only plant your seeds. But by you planting your seed, other people plant their seeds. And those people and their children, and so on and so forth. So how are you invested here in the collective? By planting your seed of truth, one that is free of distortion, one that is aligned with a higher truth, the hidden wisdom and knowledge of who we truly are. And who are we truly? We're part of the divine creator here. We are not part of any sort of corrupt system, okay, that needs control and power and greed and shadow and toxicity and keeps us feeling trapped and stuck, saying that's the only way you'll be happy. That's the only way, is if you chase it, if you control it, if you have to do something. Like, no, I know of a greater wisdom. I know of the divine way. Okay, I feel you're very intuitive and you know the wisdom that a lot of people cannot understand or see. And once you connect to this, I feel you come online and bring that to the 3D. Okay, I'm seeing the magician, which is as above, so below. I'm bringing this hidden wisdom and this knowledge down to the 3D so I can plant these seeds of knowledge with my peers, with other people, so that they can see through the matrix and the distortions, and that they're not imprisoned, that they're not chained to that job or that belief or that medical system or that, corrupt structure. They have the freedom to make choices that don't play the game, and they don't have to choose one way or another. It's like either you fight against it or you're part of it. It's like, no, I'm not even a part of this game. I don't even have to engage in any of that. I'm creating the greatest ultimate truth here with the seed of truth of the divine creator, which is your birthright here, to love self, okay, to open the heart space, to love humanity, to stand in light and love and truth, and shine that light of awareness. That will see through any illusions. You don't need to do anything else. Do what you love. Okay, so let's look at your postcard. This is a message from spirits to you specifically, pile number 3. Dear you, there are times in life when taking a risk is better left for another day. Other times are perfect for taking that leap, no matter how dangerous it might seem. Well, hold on to your parachute strings, for today is leap time. Release that no matter what, we will not let you fall, drown, get lost, or hurt yourself in any way on this one. Even if it may feel like you are in a free fall, we are here for you, and you can stop freaking out about getting hurt and relax into this transition to something new. All the elements are in place, and your soul is ready for a new experience. No matter what you're asking about, it's time to take the risk and do that thing that scares you. No matter what happens, you will land softly, right on target. Don't worry about the outcome. Spirit's got you covered. It's taking the leap itself. That's the point. We love your courage. Embrace it. So what did I say about bucking the system in a way where others will say you're unconventionally doing something that society wouldn't dare sort of do because they're sort of towing the line? And when we want to be accepted, we sort of try to be different just enough to be special, but we still want to be approved and accepted into some sort of society, or else we're outcasts. This is about not needing to be accepted and approved, so we have to hang on to any form of identity. This is an ultimate truth of what makes me happy, and taking that risk. Okay, so if I had to quit my day job because I'm no longer under the thumb of corporation and that doesn't fulfill me, and now I understand that there's a greater purpose here and that I have this ability to impact the collective by doing something here that my calling is pulling me towards. So you could be having your intuition calling you towards something, or a knowing that where you have been invested might be a misalignment, or might have been a dead end, or might have not have left you with many options. And so you might have had to free yourself from that. Okay, because I do feel like you're protected in whatever risk you're taking on this journey, because I feel like you commit your life to this thing. Okay, you're committing your life to the service, the act of love, the act of what you truly desire. It's healing for you, it's healing for other. And when you're jumping 2 feet, this is when you become the greatest impact. And so the universe rewards you. God rewards you. You are protected in this leap. If you had to make massive changes, if you had to conclude certain things about where you need to be and what you need to do in order to align yourself with this mission, Spirit has your back. Okay? Like I said, even if it's just, I'm going to become this, whatever, this mechanic, this restaurant owner, this person, this is the role that I am taking on. But it requires you to do something. It's like you are protected. You will make the money that you need if you're needing to be paid, in finances. You will get the resources you need. The people will come, the support will come, the growth will come, the information will come to you through dreams, through signs, symbols, synchronicities. You will be shown because you are highly protected by the divine creator, because you're doing God's work here. Okay? Everything in the name of love. And what's greater than just opening the heart in the name of love is allowing others to sort of do the same thing by embodying that here and seeing their own true value. So you free yourself from this devil, and others do the same thing. They see their own devil. They see their own limitations when it comes to how they're being limited. Okay, because there's something wild within you that needs to be freed. We're all free beings. We're already free. Okay, but if we don't realize it, we sort of live in a society where we think we're imprisoned, where we think we have to do something, and we don't. That's a belief, and it keeps us stuck. Okay? Pile number 3, this is your reading. Pisces, Capricorn, and Pisces. Okay? And Aquarius. I love you guys very much, and I will see you guys at the next one. Bye-bye.